Hi. Are you afraid of your kids when they act out? They're having a tantrum, expressing anger, rudeness, or defiance. Are you afraid of how others will perceive you when your child acts out in ways that draw attention to the fact that at this moment in time, they are not under control? They're not under anyone's control. Maybe only their own will, wanting their own way. Not listening to you, not listening to anyone. When your child is acting out to impose its will as the only authority it's going to follow, that's not the time as a parent to be afraid of their behavior or to concede your authority as a parent. But so often it does happen. Parents who are afraid because of the willfulness of their children often will step back rather than step up and exercise parental authority. Some of it also is due to the fear of what others will think about your parenting style, that you might be judged to be an authoritarian parent. But there is a real difference between an authoritarian parent and an authoritative parent. An authoritarian parent uses authority for the outcome of control, of controlling their children so the children are not an embarrassment. But an authoritative parent does not see control as the ultimate objective or goal. They want to exercise a measure of control as parents who are accountable for how they use their authority to God. They want to use their authority to regulate the behavior of their children and to train their children to respect that in life, as we share our time and our resources with other people, our other family members or people in our school or at our church, that we cannot always have it our way or do things according to our will, that we have to respect the needs and interests of other people too. So the authoritative parent is trying to teach the child to be a socially useful, helpful member of the community. It's like a soccer game. In a soccer game, if the players are following their own rules, tripping each other over, committing fouls, disobeying the rules of the game, it's a terrible game and nobody enjoys it, neither the players nor those who are watching. But when you have a good referee who understands the rules, makes sure that the rules are enforced and that there are consequences when the rules are broken, you have a great game. A great game of soccer where people can play and it's fair and square and the players enjoy it and the viewers enjoy it. Well, it's the same with family life. The children need to learn that in the family or in their school community, there are rules to the game so that everybody gets to contribute, everybody gets to play their part, and we all respect each other. The exhortations of Paul to parents in Ephesians 6 and Colossians chapter 3 assumes that parents will exercise authority over their children and that children will be obligated to honor and obey that authority. But Paul does not assume that we know as parents how to use that authority wisely. And so he provides instructions to guide that. But sadly, some parents don't even get to that point of learning how to use authority wisely. They're just not using their authority. They're just hoping that kids will grow up and mature without that need to intervene, especially when they're acting badly in a public setting. I remember a pastor saying to me once, "Russell, you need to pick up the snake before it bites you, and when you do, it will become the rod of authority." Now, he was referring to the story of Moses, who was commanded by God to pick up a snake on the ground, and when he did, it became the rod that he later used to show that he was the leader of the people of Israel. He used it when he parted the Red Sea. He used it to lead them out of slavery into the promised land. It became a rod of authority, a symbol of his authority over the people. Now, I think the pastor's interpretation and application of that Bible story was not really the best way to apply the Bible, but it was a great illustration, a vivid one that stayed in my mind and guided my parenting. So that when one of my kids was acting really badly and in a way that was quite embarrassing, and I was worried about if I step in, are they going to get even angrier or be rude or really make a public show of this? I realized that snake's going to bite me, but I've got to pick it up and exercise authority. And I did. I never let a situation just ride. Whenever I thought this child has crossed the line, I immediately would step in, take them out of that place where they could not make a public scene, if it's at all possible, and reminded them that there are standards of behavior, that there are rules, and that they must obey and respect those rules, because they must obey standards that show respect for other people and play fairly. So I learnt to lead. And so what I'm really trying to say is, don't be afraid in those situations where the child is having a tantrum or is acting really badly. Don't worry about what other people think. That's your opportunity to really be a parent, to lead, and to show that you can use that authority to guide your child out of socially destructive and unhelpful behavior into socially constructive and helpful behavior. Because in the end, your goal is to help your child to take their place and be a contributing member of society and a contributing member, hopefully, of a church community. And they will only learn that if they learn to respect authority. You're not saying that you are the final authority, but you are saying you have been delegated by God to teach them to learn to live under the authority of God's commands, that they should love Him and they should love their neighbor. We share life with so many other people. So it is so important for children to learn about authority and how to submit to it, because that authority produces an ordered and organized society of, hopefully, of people who contribute, collaborate, and cooperate. Parents, don't be afraid. I'm encouraging you. Pick up that snake that you think might bite you. It'll become a rod of authority, of good, wise, loving authority. And do so for the sake of the well-being of your children, so that they can become a helpful, constructive member of society.